Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly appreciate all the witnesses being here today. During Trump's first 100 days, ICE arrested 67,000 illegal aliens and removed almost 66,000 from this country. Of those, almost 50,000 were criminal illegal aliens, either with a criminal record or facing criminal charges. Mr. Arthur, what categories of aliens are generally held in ICE detention?
Generally, it's criminals, individuals who are subject to mandatory detention because of crimes under Sections 236C and 241A2, in addition to individuals who are apprehended entering the United States subject to mandatory detention under Section 235B.
Okay, and Mr. Mechkowski, this may be something, I don't know, you maybe can help me understand, but my understanding was when folks came across the border here, the background check we didn't really go back to their home country. So how do we eventually identify those? In other words, we're looking for crimes they committed in the United States, but we don't know if from Guatemala or wherever they came from. How is it that we eventually figure that out, and why is it that we don't know when they're coming? Is Mr. Mechkowski or Mr. Arthur, either one, Marina, whoever may have the answer to that.
Well, the problem has been the lack of thorough vetting for any of these illegal migrants that have been allowed to come into the United States. So never mind the countries of origin that oftentimes can't be verified. We don't even know who these individuals are. And we know that trickles down all the way to the unaccompanied minors. With the lack of DNA testing that was done away with early in the Biden administration, we now have, well over 350,000 that are missing within the interior of the country. So this becomes a guessing game now for authorities who are trying to rectify this system under the Trump administration. It's challenging. And then when you finally do discover the countries of origin, sometimes they don't want to accept these illegal migrants back.
One thing I found fairly interesting is when I went to the border, we saw thousands of IDs thrown down south of the border. So in other words, folks coming in, they had an ID in hand and they tossed it on the ground before they come across. And talking about the 350,000 children that the Biden administration lost, we don't know where they're at, what they're being trafficked into. But I had an individual who came across, he was 31 years old. He identified as an unaccompanied minor and raped a 14-year-old girl in a restaurant, in a restroom. And he already had a criminal record, but it was amazing to me that we didn't know his record when he came here. But then when you go see the border and you see all these thousands of IDs laying across that southern border, they don't want you to know who they are when they're coming here. And so, Mr. Arthur, why are these ICE detention centers, why are they so very important?
ICE detention is absolutely crucial for the enforcement of the law. ICE detention serves the two purposes: one, ensuring that individuals will show up for their immigration proceedings and the removal, but more importantly, to ensure that individuals who pose a danger to the community aren't allowed to be in the community while we go through that process. In fact, any individual who is eligible for bond can ask for bond if they don't have a crime. They can ask for bond from an immigration judge. I heard thousands of these cases. If they didn't pose a danger to the community and they weren't a flight risk, they were eligible for bond. Otherwise, they'd be detained because they're not going to show up.
Mr. Mechkowski, you said you retired in 2018 from ICE. What was it like then compared to what you've heard from your colleagues in the last few years? How does the morale, what's going on, and what are they seeing on the streets?
Thank you for the question, sir. My experience was ICE officers are out there every day doing a job that Congress mandated. It's codified. I mean, there's funding for it. There's directives that come directly from Congress. And the men and women are out there every single day. And
so when you say codified, it's the law.
Yes, sir.
And so it always amazes me that how when we're enforcing certain laws, everybody comes up in arms. But to me, it's just a matter of we are trying to enforce the laws on the books. You guys, the officers on the street are trying to do what Congress has mandated. So what are you seeing with the morale now? Was it better? I assume it would have been better in 2018.
Yes, sir. They felt under the last administration they were totally abandoned, left out to dry. It was a field day. They weren't doing their jobs. They were sitting there. Nobody really cared. Meaning the people there felt like ICE was literally abolished without an actual order from Congress abolishing ICE.
So I'm running out of time, but so the same party that wanted to defund the police have basically attacked ICE for doing their job.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you. I yield back.
gentleman from Alabama leads back. I will recognize